There's a specific kind of adult who apologizes for everything. For taking up space, for needing anything, for existing too loudly. And if you ask them why, they can't quite explain it. But somewhere in their childhood, they learned that their needs were negotiable, that being small meant staying quiet. That's what happens when you grow up too fast. Let me paint you a picture. A 7-year-old making breakfast for younger siblings. A 10-year-old mediating their parents' fights. A 12-year-old who became the emotional support system for an entire household. None of this looked like abuse. It looked like responsibility, like being mature for your age. But here's what psychologists know now. When a child takes on adult responsibilities before their brain is ready, something fundamental shifts. It's called parentification, and it doesn't just shape your childhood. It rewires how you experience the world forever. Dr. Lisa Hooper has studied this for decades. She found that parentified children develop what looks like exceptional maturity. But it's not maturity. It's survival. Your nervous system learned to operate in crisis mode as the baseline. You became hypervigilant, reading every mood shift, every tension in the room, every unspoken need. And you got good at it. Terrifyingly good. You could sense your parents' mood before they spoke. Predict conflict before it erupted. Manage chaos like a trained professional. These became your superpowers. But nobody told you they'd become your prison too. Here's what happens to that child when they grow up. They struggle with the smallest things, not the big stuff. They can handle crisis with their eyes closed. But asking for help, resting without guilt, being playful and carefree, those feel dangerous. Because you learned early that the world doesn't stop for you. That stability depends on your ability to hold everything together. That your needs come last. You didn't just learn a lesson. You built an entire identity around it. And decades later, you're still running that same program. In relationships, this shows up in specific ways. You're attracted to people who need fixing. Not because you have a savior complex. Because being needed feels like love. It's the only kind you learn to recognize. Intimacy terrifies you. Because vulnerability was a luxury you couldn't afford. So even when you're safe, even when someone genuinely cares, there's a part of you that won't let your guard down. You gravitate toward emotionally unavailable partners. And before you blame yourself, understand this. Unavailable feels familiar. It feels like home, because home was a place where you gave endlessly and received rarely. When someone offers consistent love and presence, it feels wrong, like waiting for the other shoe to drop. There's also the control thing. Not controlling in the toxic sense, though sometimes it manifests that way. I'm talking about that deep, primal need to manage every variable. Because unpredictability once meant danger. Chaos meant everything falling apart. So you plan. You overthink. You run through 17 scenarios before making the smallest decision. People call you type A, anxious, perfectionist. But what they're really seeing is a child who learned that letting their guard down had consequences. The exhaustion is real too. That bone-deep tiredness that sleep doesn't fix, that's not laziness. That's what happens when your nervous system has been in overdrive since elementary school. Your body never learned what true rest feels like. Because rest wasn't safe. Rest meant things might fall apart. And here's the cruelest part. The world rewards this. Society loves people who grew up too fast. You're productive, independent, low maintenance. You get things done. But nobody asks what it cost you to become this way. You also developed a strange relationship with success. You achieve things, impressive things, but it never feels like enough. There's always this voice. More, better, faster, prove yourself. Because your worth got tangled with your usefulness back then. And you've been trying to earn your right to exist ever since. You became fluent in emotional labor, managing tension, diffusing conflict before it starts, making everyone comfortable while drowning inside. And the strangest part? You don't even realize you're doing it anymore. It's automatic, like breathing. Except breathing keeps you alive. This slowly empties you out. So what do you do with all of this? First, you grieve. You grieve the childhood you didn't get. The version of you who could have been messy and needy and still been loved. That kid deserved better. Saying that doesn't make you ungrateful. It makes you honest. Second, You learn that being needed isn't the same as being valued, that your worth isn't measured by what you produce or how well you manage other people's emotions. You allowed to rest, to not have all the answers, to be the one who falls apart sometimes. You allowed to receive without earning it first. That child who grew up too fast did an incredible job. They were resourceful, strong, brave beyond measure. But they can rest now. They don't have to run the show anymore. It's safe to let someone else take a turn. You've been holding on so tight for so long. What would it feel like to finally let go?